Welcome to the Building Doors Podcast, where we're not just pushing for opportunities for women's voices to be heard, we're creating them. I'm Christy Harst, voiceover actor and creator of the Building Doors campaign. Join us as we amplify voices, break barriers, and build doors together. Welcome to the Building Doors Podcast. I'm your host, Christy Harst, and today we are joined by a true powerhouse in the world of professional sports. It is jockey Katie Davis. Yeah, button. You can get yours on Amazon. Born into a legendary racing family in Saratoga Springs, Katie grew up with the track in her blood. But carving her own path as a top thoroughbred jockey has been about more than just speed. It's been about strength, grit, and breaking barriers in one of the most male-dominated arenas in athletics. Since earning her jockey's license in 2013, Katie has proven time and time again that talent knows no gender, racking up wins, including her first stakes victory aboard Next Best Thing and riding at elite tracks across the country. She is now featured in the hit Netflix series Race for the Crown, and Katie's story is reaching a whole new generation of fans, especially young girls who can finally see someone who looks like them crossing the finish line first. She's a fierce competitor. Don't mess with Katie Davis, a devoted mom, and a living example that courage and persistence can rewrite even the oldest traditions. Katie, you are opening doors for the next generation of riders. Welcome to the Building Doors Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a blessing to be able to tell my story, put myself out there, and give hope to the person behind me. And either whether that's women or men, why not?
Let's talk about that, because you didn't have many women to look up to in racing when you were starting, correct?
Yes, very true.
And for those who don't watch racing on the regular, who may not completely understand the sport, let's talk about what it means to be a horse jockey, what it means to race, and why there are so few women. So I don't think many people know that, and I learned this from you, that there is no women's division. There is no women's league. There's women's basketball, men's basketball. That's not the thing. In the United States, horse racing is horse racing. And if you are good, you get on the horse.
Yes.
So you don't have a lot of women to look up to. So what was that like? Because I know you grew up in a racing family.
Yes. So, my dad was a jockey in the 80s and 90s. My dad kept us away from horse racing pretty good. I think he nailed it. He came home not talking about horse racing. It was great because we had a childhood. But once I got older, my dad retired and we had a farm and my neighbor had horses. I was like, ooh, horses, cool. And he was like, no, no, no. And I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And so I gravitated to horse racing pretty quickly. It was nice to be able to look up to my father as a jockey. But when it came to women in racing, all the women jockeys, like Julie Crone, she retired, but then there was Rosie Napravnik. She was at her top of the top game. But other than that, there was all these other women that were struggling hard in the industry and trying to make it. So with that being said, my sister started riding before me, so she was pretty much the only one that I could really look up to and really close to, and knowing that us women are trying to make it in a male dominant sport. So it was great to have my sister along, but I also had a lot of women not support me as well.
So what can you tell me about what it's like to try and be a woman in this male dominant industry? And even sometimes you come across women who don't want to help.
Yeah, it when I first experienced a jocks room where women do not do not want to see other women do well, but they have their cliques too. So there's other women in the room that I experienced as well. So when they seen an outsider come into their track, they're like, "Oh no, like we don't want to help her. We want nothing to do with her." And they've been like before they've gone after my business, and at one point I was just like, I don't understand. I'm like, you don't want my mounts. We want the guys' mounts. Like, because they are getting more of an opportunity than we are. And I've always thought, since that day, it's like, okay, if a trainer would ride me, why wouldn't they ride you? And
Mm.
you have different skills that I have, but women more tend to having soft hands and energy wise and connecting with the horses, which some men have it once they realize it clicks for them. But some horses get along with women more than men, and I'm living proof of it. I've gone along with wild horses, crazy horses, and won plenty of races with them. But it blew my mind. It was kind of a catty situation, and I didn't stoop down to their level as well. And I knew from that day on, that's not going to be me. I will
Mm.
not degrade myself to degrade another woman in an industry full of men that women need to be empowered. Like, you
Wow.
need to you need to give them the strength behind me, because I've always said, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So
Mm.
as a woman, if you're not going to believe yourself in a male dominant sport, you might as well pack your stuff and get out.
Wow.
You
And so
know.
you even told me once, you said, and I think this is so interesting because it confirms what I have experienced in other industries, which is this.
Of course.
There are women in positions within industries where they do have the ability to pull up another woman and help her rise, but they choose not to because
Yes, I'm getting the
they
chills.
have
It's so sad.
they have to protect their world, their position that they got into. So here this woman is in the C-suite office, or maybe in your world, here this woman is a top elite horse trainer, right?
Mhm.
And they can't bring a bunch of women because they're too scared to go out of their box to lose their position.
Yes, you nailed it. That's exactly why women don't choose to help other women succeed, because they're afraid they might take their spot. But in reality, if you see more women do well, they're going to come, they'll come through and boost you up. It's like when I started in New York, uh, I rode with my sister a little bit, and but I had a woman come through at Aqueduct. Her name was Carol Cedeno. She has two kids. She was riding again, and she was very quiet when I first met her, so I was quiet too. And because I came from a room that was very catty, and I'm like, okay, my sister, cool, I know you, but I don't know you. Let's just wait a minute. And once Jackie was like, oh, Carol, and then it kind of broke the ice a little bit, and she came back to Aqueduct again. She goes, Kitty, what are you doing for the spring? I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to go to Parks. And she's like, okay, yeah, I go to Parks. I'll see you there. And then I went to Parks and I was miserable. It was kind of a catty jocks room again. But Carol wasn't like that. And so I drew towards her a little bit more. And she's like, what are you doing? You need to get out of Parks. Why don't we go to Delaware? Come with me. You can have my agent, because I had the bug and I was learning, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. I'm miserable. And I had people at Parks tell me, trainers, how are you still smiling here? And I'm like, good question. I have no idea. It's a very different place, and it's a year-round track. Everybody knows each other, and I was kind of like an outsider in, and didn't want to get too involved with people. So they were kind of like, how are you still smiling? Like, you don't hang out with anybody, you don't do anything. And I was like, I'm in my own bubble, guys. So I ended up going to Delaware with her, and she was helping me. Any questions I had, she was there. And I was like, that's the person I want to be for the next
Mm.
generation.
Mm.
And I questioned her before I had a kid. I go, how are you doing it? You have two kids. You don't have the father involved. Well, he's involved, but you're not together. How are you doing
Right.
it? And she's like, my parents, a good
Mm.
support system. And I was like, okay. So, she's helped me not just with racing, but with my lifestyle as well too. To be
Mm.
able to keep riding.
And so you're competing. I mean, let's just, for those who are not aware or don't follow horse racing, you're competing at the highest level in this sport.
I am. Mhm.
You are. You are.
Yeah.
You are competing at the highest level of this sport that wasn't built to include you. It
Very
wasn't
true.
built for women.
It wasn't.
So,
Mm-mm.
what kind of resistance do you face and what's helped you push through it? So, walk us through, walk some if you've never watched horse racing, explain like you did to me in kindergarten terms
Yeah.
why
Outside.
men yeah,
Hmm.
why men are typically picked, why the perception of why women shouldn't be on horses, and then explain some of the things that you have to do 10 times better than somebody doing, because the joke
Yeah.
is just have the confidence of a mediocre white man and you'll be fine. So let's bring that into the equation as well.
So a lot of challenges in the beginning that I've dealt with was, oh, she's not strong enough. She
And they
doesn't.
think women in general aren't strong enough, right?
And believe it or not, yes, believe it or not, my arms are bigger than half the guys in the room. Not
So yeah,
half, but
break it down in terms
it's,
of horse racing, the mechanics. Like they think that women can't race horses because they don't traditionally have upper body strength.
yes, as a man.
So
But
what
biologically, we don't. Biologically, men are stronger than women, which is fine. You know, but it's that when you're watching a horse race, it's that pumping, that it's a show in some sense too, because once you get it and you pop it and you lock it and you grab mane, you got it.
mhm.
But it's that show of strength and going and endurance and riding. It's kind of hard to explain because there's so many other aspects of like being strong. If a horse is
Mhm.
wanting to get out and you literally have to hang on to him and keep him in and keep him running and don't let him drift, because if you're going to let him drift, if you get labeled something, then it's so hard to get away from.
Oh, like labeled like a drifter or labeled something else?
Labeled as, oh, she's weak, she can't keep a horse in. Oh, she
Oh.
lets horse zigzag through the stretch, or she
Mhm.
she doesn't have control over what she's doing. Oh, she's weak. That's the common one, is she's weak. She can't get a horse to the wire. So that's always been drilled in my head, is I don't want to be labeled weak
Mm.
at all as a woman, because it's so hard to get away from. So it's always about critiquing yourself and going back and watching replays and understanding that, yeah, we're trying to look like a man, sadly.
Mm.
And it's
Now, who
sad.
makes the decision? Who makes the decision as to who rides what horse? And
So
so who's like your fate is in whose hands?
so we have an agent that sells us and goes out and calls, texts, stays on top. They need to be. I've always had issues with, not issues with my agent, but it's hard to sell a woman on the track, because they get the backlash too, as, oh, I don't think she fits this horse, I need a stronger rider. But I've proven myself over and over and over on horses that guys don't even get along with, and that could never
Mm.
get the horse to win or wouldn't understand him. And I've won 5 races on the horse, and I've had so many people say, how'd you win on this horse? Wow, you really get along with this horse. I've had jockeys come up with me, that never ridden the horse, and I kind of refused to ride him because he's hard to ride. And I would tell the jockey, hey, listen, this horse doesn't like this, this, and this. Just make sure you do this. And she doesn't know what she's talking about. I'm gonna ride.
Ah.
I breeze the horse in the morning. He's fine. There's nothing wrong with him. And in the race, I'm watching the race, and I'm like, oh shit, like, oh no, I know what this horse is
Uh-huh.
gonna do to you. And then it happens, and he's like, you see him freaking out, and then the horse does what he does, and he comes back and he's like, I'll never ride that horse again. And like the
I
trainers,
told you.
yeah, I told you. And I'm like, no, but she's that dumb girl. She doesn't know what she's talking about. I breeze him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And it's sad because being a woman, you have to prove yourself 10 times harder than a man. It's like once
Let's
you're
talk about that.
labeled, yeah, but once you're labeled you can ride, a man gets mounts like left and right. Like, oh, he can ride. I'm going to put him on this horse. Oh, he can ride. And it, I get people that say, "Oh, she can ride, but
Oh,
I always
but
get the but I don't think this horse fits her. Or, you got to understand too. I'm going to change the subject a little bit, but getting back to your answer, and trainers, our agents go to trainers, which we go to trainers as well, and ask for a certain horse, or they think a horse would fit me, and hey, Katie, I have a horse for you to ride. And it's the trainer going to the owner saying, hey, I have this horse. I think Katie would really fit this horse. And they could say yes or no. Or the owner would say, hey, I want Katie on my horse, but the trainer can say no. So it's that trainer,
it's a
yes,
dance.
no. Yeah, it's the trainer, yes, no. It's the owner, yes, no. Or if it's the trainer says yes and the owner says yes, but your agent says no, it's like, what, or I could say no. So it's a dance around everybody. But you're always trying to get on the best horse. And that it's hard here in New York. I'm with the best of the best colony, and I'm not getting second or third choice. I'm getting fifth or sixth, maybe even seventh or eighth choice, and I'm still winning on them.
Okay.
It's like, yeah, exactly. And it's like, how many times like the last 2 weeks I paid more than $50 on a horse. I was 60 to 1, 40 to 1, like, horses that they thought could never win. And it comes, you don't know how the horses are feeling that day. You don't know if they're doing well, or they want to run today, and then the favorite gets stuck in a pocket and you just go fly and you get to jump on them and you're like, gotcha. It's a mystery with racing, but there's so many challenges, and you have to be up for the challenge and the nose and the being getting put down and put down on your ability, and just trying to stay positive on knowing that you can ride. You have the ability, but you have so many people behind you. Oh, well, you're always fucking up, or why'd you do that in one race, or why'd you do this, and you should have done that. And it's like those split seconds. You have to make those split seconds. Oh, if I wait 2 more jumps, this horse is going to move out, and there's a clear path. It's just being on your game and having a clear mind.
So let me ask you this. Since you are very much like many voice actors and people in the creative industry, where we are our own business, we are freelancers, right?
Yeah.
If we don't work that day, that's because we chose not to work that day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we do a lot of networking. Is there any networking in what you do? Like, do you go to like happy hours with owners, and do you like make your case? Like, is that anything like that?
Yes and no. That's a little touchy for women.
Oh, talk about it. Get in it. Do it. Break it down. Why is it touchy for women? Do it.
So it depends because, I mean, in any industry, you're going to get it. When you're a woman, and you want something, some people think they deserve something in return. So ring the
Where's my
bell.
popcorn? Where's my popcorn? Look, I'm sipping my tea.
Yeah.
Do it.
So
Do it. Keep talking.
I know, and I've been there, and I've learned a happy medium balance of knowing who I can go to dinner with without it being that way, or how far can I put myself out there. And it's just not fair, because a man can go out with whoever he wants and it's not there in their face, sorry. And so I feel like men don't understand how much harder it is for women to build that business aspect on that end, because there's that fine line, especially when you're married and you have kids, and or you just want to just ride me for my ability, not because
Mm.
you want something out of it. And luckily my father, I worked underneath him before I came onto the track, and I was daddy's little girl. And, like, I was wild. Like, I bolted a couple times and not listened to him and stuff. But when I did get on the track, the one thing he did say to me was, Katie, this is not a woman's sport. And I know you want to do this, and you were born between three boys, and you're tough. But I'm going to tell you straightforward, as your father, these men will tell you what you want to hear just to get in your pants.
Wow, your dad was no joke.
Because he lived and he watched it, and he's like, I don't want my little girl in this industry, but I'm going to tell her straight
Wow.
to her face, and she's going to have to understand that once you do it, everybody's going to expect it in your industry. And I was like, boom, Dad, you're the best. So I can, like, I tell people too, if I don't make it to where I want to be in this industry, I know I did it the right way.
Girl,
That
preach.
I got to where I'm at today is because I didn't go down that route. And I
Mm.
chose it. I chose people to ride me for my ability, not for what I have or what I can give them for that spare minute. And then on top of it, it only, like my dad said, it only lasts so long. So once they're done with you, you're not getting on those horses anymore. And it's like, so as I got older, this is so sad to say, but you realize life in general. And I was like, wow, like, man, if I ever went down that route, it's just stupid because you're risking your life every day. Like, you get on a horse, you're risking your life to go down, or another horse trampling over you, or literally,
Mhm.
yeah. And that's the
Wow.
industry. You're risking your life every day out there. And um, I always said, you don't have to put this in there, but I always said, why would I do that, Dad, when I could probably just get a sugar daddy and and I don't have to risk my life every day just being stupid. And he's like, "Shut up, Katie." But uh, but it's really sad um how it is, and being in a male dominant sport, and then it's any industry too, where the male's
Yeah.
up top, and hey, come out to dinner with me, and this and that, and you know. I have a really good story about my first steak win.
Do it. Do it. We want to hear all the stories, all of them.
So this guy, he was lean trainer, um, and he kept pushing. Come on, let's go out to dinner. Let's go out to dinner. When are we going to dinner? And I'm like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, no, yeah, I'm good. Like, yeah, no, and kind of punch him in the arm and like be that dork, like manly but girly at the same time. That fine line where you're like, give me your
Yeah, because you're,
horses. I want to
yeah,
ride for you, but I don't want to go to dinner with you. Like, so my dad always say, use him for his money. So you gotta have to play, but you can't cross the line.
yeah.
So I call my dad one day and I'm like, Dad, this guy, he don't stop. And he's like, what, Katie, what's wrong? And I was like, he wants to take me out to dinner, but I just want to win races and it doesn't stop. And he's like, well, Katie, tell him you'll go out to dinner with him when you win your first steak race. Right. And he tells me something else. And I said, oh my God, that's awesome. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. So he put it out there again and he goes, because, winning steak races pushes your career forward,
Okay.
showing that you have ability as a woman rider to win steak races, higher purse money, higher pressure.
It's a
Just,
big deal.
it's a big deal. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to win a steak race. And he goes, tell him that, Katie. But he told me something else, and I'm like, oh, great idea. This is awesome. So I told him, and he's like, yes, all right, I got a horse for you. I got a horse for you. And he's all excited. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Okay, see you later. And I like leave the barn and I'm trucking out. I'm like, I got this guy. I'm going to win my first stake wish. And so a week before, I ended up going down a horse. He took a bad step and I ended up going over him and I popped my collarbone out. And so I'm laying there looking at the sky and I'm like, wow, the sky's so beautiful. I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. So I ended up going into the ER and I picked up the flu. So I was deathly sick, right? And I have to ride the stake race the next week. And I'm like trying to get better, better. And I'm like, I'm not taking off. I'm not. This guy thinks we're going to dinner. I got a shot in this race. So I ended up riding the stake race and the horse took me there. I won the race. My husband now, but he wasn't my boyfriend at the time. I beat him too in the race.
You beat your future husband in
Yeah,
the
I beat
race
my future husband in the
with a
race.
popped collar
Collarbone
and flu.
and the flu. Yeah. So
Okay.
this guy was determined to take me out to dinner. So I won the race and it really put my career forward after it. So
Mm.
I get back to the barn. My agent's so excited. He ended up buying them a pig for the barn to celebrate. And so I get back to the barn the next couple of days and he goes, so, where are we going? Where are we going? He's so excited. I go, what? He goes, what do you mean? I go, we never shook hands on that deal. It was he says, she said. He says, she
Oh,
says. And
oh,
he goes,
oh, oh.
his eyes lit up like this. He goes, oh my God, I like you. You're good. You're freaking good. I go, thanks for my steak. Goodbye.
You played him like they play each other. That is brilliant. Your dad totally
Yeah.
gave you the best advice
Advice.
ever.
Yeah, he goes, Katie, sometimes you have to play their game. You got to think they're playing you, but you play their game 10 times better and they'll
Wow.
respect you. And I got the most respect out of that guy from,
Wow. What a
but
great
and you
what
hear women have a hard time with him still today, but I have he respects me from since that day.
But what a
And
great lesson. It's a great lesson for not only you, but for you to pass down to other women, but also all the women listening and watching this podcast right now.
mhm.
It's a game. It's a game
It's
that
sadly it is. It's
and they
sad.
play it amongst themselves. They play it amongst
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
So learn how to play that game like they do.
It doesn't come easy and I'm lucky to have my father kind of guide me through it because he knew the industry. But, sometimes you have to analyze it and say, okay, is this something I can do and not to say get away with, but demand respect. And that's throughout my whole career is I respect you, so you should respect me.
And look what happened when you got on that horse. You didn't have to prove your athleticism and your ability as a jockey.
I
You
was
got on that
definitely
horse.
sick.
Yeah, you were sick, you were broken literally, and you
Uh-huh.
still won. What does that say? That says that women deserve a chance to be
I know.
heard and seen in ways that they've never been before. Your nickname is the Smiling Assassin, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you've talked about what it's like to be in catty environments. You've talked about what it's like to be in this male. And by the way, from what you and I were talking about in our previous conversation over the phone, I cannot believe how male dominated and stuck in a certain century that horse racing is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think of women's boxing, right? That's definitely male dominated, but there are female boxers. We do see them on TV, not as much as we
Yes.
should,
Yes.
but we occasionally do. The way you described the state of horse racing now, it's like it hasn't changed in decades, like since the 50s, 60s, and it's crazy to me. So, as the Smiling Assassin, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
You are clearly No joke. You're a competitor, you're fierce. And do you feel like there is a pressure because you're a woman to stay likable in a sport where you're technically not welcomed? Like when you walk in, do you feel like, oh, I got to put the smile on? I am the smiling assassin. Everyone knows that I'm friendly. Is that part of what you think needs to happen for you to get ahead?
No,
Good.
no, not no. I mean, yes, you have to put an act on. You can't show if you're going through hard times, or you can't show like,
Weakness?
yeah, you can show weakness, and it's sad. But you nowadays you can. But when you're riding and you're out there and your business is going, and you cannot show weakness because there's always somebody behind you trying to steal your business. And
Yes.
if you're not ready and you're not mentally ready, and people see you off your game, you're getting taken off of horses left and right. And I've seen it with a lot of riders where they're worried about this rider and their business goes to shit. So, yeah, just
Stay in
because,
your lane.
stay in your lane. Like, worry about yourself. You're competing against yourself. Yeah, you got all these other riders, but you need to worry about Katie. Katie needs to worry about Katie, because if Katie's not worrying about Katie, her business is going this way. It's like you. If you don't worry about your business and what you're doing, you're gonna venture the other way, and your business is gonna go to shit. So, um, you know, I think yes, you have to put an act on, but you know, and the guys in the room, they know me, and I demanded a lot of respect from them, especially um, this past fall. I almost fought one of the guys in the room.
I'm sorry. Hold up. Time out. Time out. Time out. You almost fought another guy in the room. Break it down. Juicy story time. Go.
It's a really good story. So,
Go.
um, this guy, he came from another track, and he's got a big ego. I mean, everybody has an ego in the horse racing industry, and
And this
it's
guy's a jockey?
yeah, he's a jockey.
Okay.
So, last spring, he went from the 10 path flying. Like, if you're driving in a car and you see a car from the slow lane come straight to the fast lane, you're gonna like, ah, whoa, where you going? Like, be not scared, but like pull up and like, whoa, what is this guy doing? So he went from the 10 path all the way down to the one path where I am. And I screamed at him. I said, hey, I'm here. I didn't pull out. I'm like, I'm here. You want to cut me off? You're going to put me over the fence. And if I could stand up, you better run, because I don't ride like that, and you don't ride like that towards me. So
Mm.
I come back after the race. He goes, Mommy, I wasn't going to drop you. I go, I know you weren't, because I was there. And, holding my own. Remember, I was born between three boys. I fought my one brother. We fist fought once before, a couple times when we were younger. And I go, yeah, I know you weren't. Trust me, bud. I said, I'm not scared of you. And he's like,
Mommy.
oh,
Mommy.
yeah, mommy. Oh, I hate that shit. Oh, that sets me off. I'm like, I'm not
Oh,
your fucking
mommy.
mommy.
Oh,
Okay.
mommy.
Oh, mommy. Whatever. So then I see the next race, he apologized to me, and I'm like, he goes, I wasn't trying to hurt you. I said, I don't really care, out of my face, bud. Like, so then the next day I seen his agent. I said, tell your jockey's messing with the wrong girl. Just warning you.
See, Katie Davis, that's what I'm talking. That's why we like you. You don't
Yeah,
joke around.
but I'm very friendly, and I said, listen, you don't want to see my bad side. Trust me.
So let me ask you, on the heels of that story then, have there been moments where you thought, if I were a man, this would have gone completely differently? Like if you were a man in that situation and he pulled up like that, hot, like what kind of situations have you been in where you think, yep, if I was a man, this wouldn't have happened. If I was a man, they wouldn't have said
There's
this.
a lot of situations. Yeah, there's a lot of situations, but it gets even better, the story. We get back to Aqueduct. After Saratoga, we get back to Aqueduct, and There was one incident he squeezed my brother on the fence with another rider outside going down the stretch. He squeezed my brother, and then the other guy squeezed him. So Dylan had to check out because it got way too tight, and they started all bickering. So then the race right after, me and him are going head and head, and this guy, he's got an ego, and once you're like, he's like, he thinks he's unstoppable. So he goes out there and we hit the top of the stretch. My horse isn't keeping up with him, but then he wheels out and he went to drop down on me and like wipe out my horse's front feet. And I said, "Hey, come on!" Like I'm like, dude, just stay your path. Don't wipe me out. And so he pulled out. You could see him. He's like, I corrected him because he was gonna drop me. And so after the race, he's like, "Oh, mommy, I wasn't gonna drop you. You like to talk shit. Talk shit, 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 shit." And I'm looking at him and I'm like, dude, you almost dropped me, like you almost put my brother over the fucking fence. Fuck you. Excuse my French, or like a curse. So then he's like, so we were bickering back and forth about that race. And I said, then he comes back after the race and he's like, "I'm sorry." And I ignored him. And I'm a very friendly person. I will say hello, blah, blah, blah. And so I ignored him. He was standing right in front of where I had to put my saddle. I went around, chucked my saddle down, and went around. So the next day, he was having the worst day, worst luck in racing. Like he almost went down and he was riding bad races and this and that. And then, so the very last race, I was on a horse and he was getting out so bad. I was on one rein into the first turn, like just trying to keep him in. Then he straightened out. And then the last race, the last turn, he was getting out really bad. But I had him. I had this. And when you're straight, and you're not moving. So I had him and I'm riding him, pop. So all of a sudden, there was a guy next to me. He starts leaning towards me and I hear screaming completely like bloody murder. And so the door's closing on him, whoever's trying to get into the spot between us. And I knew I stayed straight. So we're galloping out. And all of a sudden I hear him, "You fucking bitch, I'm gonna fuck you up." And I looked over, I go, "What? What'd you say to me?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass." And I said, "Come on, let's go. I don't care." And
This is all while riding horses.
yeah, is galloping out after the race. And we're still on the
Oh.
horse and he's cursing me out. And I said, "Come on, let's go. You want to fight?" And then he realized what he said. And he goes, "Matter of fact, I'm going to bring my sister to come fuck you up." And I said, "Bring your sister and you, because I'll fuck you both up." I don't care. And so I asked the outrider, I said, "If it's a dangerous situation, you can call the stewards and put a claim and say, 'Listen, you need to watch this race. This is what I thought happened.'" So the outrider said, "He never claimed foul on you." I said, "So what's the problem?" So I get back and he's eyeballing me when he's taking the saddle off and he's grilling me. I go, "If it was that fucking bad, sorry, can I say my language? I feel bad."
You can talk however you want to talk, and if we have to bleep it, we'll just bleep it.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. So then I looked at him because he's grilling me, and I said, "If it was that fucking bad, you fucking piece of shit, why didn't you fucking claim foul? Fuck you." And the trainer's like, Katie, because nobody knows that side of me,
Uh-huh.
other than another track that I demanded respect. And I'm like, "No, he thinks I was trying to drop him. That wasn't me. That was the kid next to me. He has the wrong license plate." I told the trainer.
Yeah.
"So, dude, you got the wrong license plate. It wasn't me." So I get back to the room and he's standing there waiting for me, right? He's waiting for me. So I said, "Let me tell you one thing. You don't speak to me like that." And he's like, "Fuck you, blah, blah, blah. You trying to drop me." I said, "No, no, no. It wasn't me." And he goes, where's your husband? Because my husband rode races, and he goes, where's your husband? I'm going to fuck him up. I go, what does he have to do with it? And I'm like, so I boob checked him, and I'm like, in his face. And I went after him and I said, come on, you want to fight? Let's go. I don't care. I'm ready, like holding my own. He's trying to intimidate me. He doesn't want me in New York, clearly, and he's just trying to intimidate a woman rider. And he didn't think I was going to come back to him, and I almost blacked out. I was very lucky. One of my fellow riders grabbed me and said, "Katie, no, don't. Katie, don't. Like, just leave it alone." And after that, he doesn't look at me. He doesn't even, he walks his beat. He doesn't get in my way in racing. He stays his line. And then other than that, all the other riders, if they mess with me out there, they come back and they apologize. Hey, I'm really sorry. I wasn't trying to steal your spot there. Hey, I'm sorry if I came down on you too hard. So it's sometimes when you're a woman, yes, it's great to be smiling and showing your kindness, but people take kindness for weakness, and they think they can bully you into certain situations and think they can push you out of line and stuff. So it is best to hold your ground. It's okay to, in our industry, we're self-employed. We don't have to answer to a boss. So, it is different for other women in industries where, you can't curse somebody out like that.
Yeah.
But, there's ways to do it where you demand respect. And then once you just, the whole key is to just get people to respect you and know your ability and know that you're just as good as this guy. And at the same time, I told him, give me your horses. You're not doing anything special that I can't do, And he's like, it's
But
like,
Katie, don't you think it's a shame? And don't get me wrong, right? You
mhm,
obviously held your own, but you had to do that. You had to show up as that person. You had to channel that other side of Katie Davis
mhm,
to get respect that likely is already automatic for men in your industry.
it
And
is.
I also think that what you did in that situation and the choices that you made were choices that to activate that other side of Katie are going to benefit women and girls that are coming up because
Yes.
they likely won't have to activate that side of them because
Mhm.
Katie Davis already did.
Yes. Yeah. And, but you're always going to be tested as a woman rider, and there's it's wild to think about. I rode overseas in Saudi for a jockey challenge, and I just went over to seas to Royal Ascot in London, and I rode, and I met a lot of women over that way as well. And they're up to beat with time, like, and everything. So what I'm saying is like there's some tracks that, like in France, women get a weight allowance over
Mm.
men. And you talk about a weight allowance over here, and you get a lot of women, oh no, I'm a man, like I want to be equal as a man. And nowadays, you could be a man, you could be a man, you could be a woman, you could be a woman, like cool, like whatever
Let's
you.
What is a weight allowance? Break that down for people who
So
don't know about racing.
weight allowance is when you first start riding, you get a weight allowance against people that have been riding for 10 years, 12 years, have all the experience. So when you start riding, you get 10 pounds off of the journeyman. So if the journeyman's riding in the race, he's 120, you get 10 pounds off and you're doing 110. So that's an advantage of horses carrying less weight.
Got it.
So throughout your career as a bug rider, when you hit 5 wins, you become a 7 pounder. And then when you hit 40, you become a 5 pounder for that year. And then if you don't meet the 1 year and you're still a 7 pounder, you keep the 7 pound until you win 40 wins. So it's interesting. So women in France, they get I think it's a 3 or 4 pound allowance over men, just because biologically women are not proven fact, aren't stronger as men.
Hmm.
It's just proven fact. So, I bring it up to some of the women here and they're like, no, we're equal. Like, we fight for this. And I said, we fight for equal rights. And I said, listen, like, I get it, but there's still like, it's still 10 times harder for us. Like, could you imagine if you had a little weight allowance, how much more of an opportunity you would get through trainers or owners where like, oh, my horse would probably benefit. Like he's just getting beat every time. If we can get 3 pounds off and have the experience, why not?
Yeah.
And the women over there, they were saying, it's 50-50 women and men. And
Really?
women are getting opportunities. They are. And
Wow.
and I can vouch for like opportunities for women. Like the last time I won a stake race after becoming a mom in New York. And the last woman that won a stake in New York was like 8, 9 years.
Wow.
So it's like it's sad to see that it's just hard for us to get opportunities to even have. So what I was getting back to is hearing that women get a weight allowance. I'm like thinking to myself, and the more and more I keep going with my career, and I'm like, man, if I had a 4 pound, yeah, I would have to struggle with my weight more because after being a mom, your
Yeah.
body changes. So I was thinking, and I'm like, and then I'm analyzing it. I'm like, so when the fillies run with the boys in a race, they get a weight allowance. They get 4 pounds off. So if a male is riding the filly in a boys race, the male gets a weight allowance on the filly
Mm.
because she's running against boys.
Hmm.
So then when you think of golf, women's tee is further up.
That's correct.
It's closer.
Correct.
So then I was talking to an owner about this, and he goes, yeah, but in basketball, the ball's smaller.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm
You're
like,
right.
wow, that's right. That's right. And then I told the owner, I said, would you rather have a 10 pound, I don't know, would you rather have a 5 pound bug boy that is still learning or a 4 pound journeyman woman that has all the knowledge? And it's something that I've always thought of, and knowing that I brought it up to the guys in the jocks room, and they were like, oh no, that'll never happen. And if it does, I'm going to change into a woman because you'll get so much opportunity. No, we won't
Oh,
sign for
heaven
that.
forbid.
Yeah,
I want to focus a little bit on
sure.
your passions and what you're looking forward to most. You've done a great job of sharing many juicy a story. Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But you're a mom, and you have told me that little girls come up to you after races.
All the time.
And yeah. And so what responsibility do you feel towards those little girls and to your child when it comes to carving out a space for not only women to follow you up in this industry and this sport, but also for men to respect women in this sport? Because it's not just about the women and the little girls. It's about educating men on how to not be like that guy who came up to you after the race, challenging you physically even.
Mhm. Yeah. I think when I think of my daughter and I think of the little girls, it's the passion of getting them to believe in themselves, of whatever you put your mind to. And just because somebody else doesn't see it, or um, they don't see what you see, doesn't mean you shouldn't run for it. As long as it's not hurting anybody, you go and you run for it. And when they ask me to sign things and I have extra room, I'd always write, always believe in yourself. Like, please, just, I remember growing up myself and questioning who I was, and I was always trying to fit in, and I was like trying to um, fit in with my friends, but I always felt like an outcaster, and then questioning myself and what I say, and oh, I should have never said that. And, it got to a point where I separated myself from everybody just so I could figure out who I am as a person, you know,
Mm.
and to understand what I want, and not care what people think of me, and to really dig into myself and know who I am, and understand my feelings, and express myself, and know how to, I still struggle expressing myself at times, but just understanding who you are as a person, it it's more than half the battle of where you get in life too. So when the little girls come up to me, they're like, I ride horses because of you. And I go, whoa, wait a minute. You should ride horses because you want to ride horses, not because of me.
Mm.
And they go, yeah, that's why I do it, because I see you riding it and I love horses and I want to ride. And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. And then I had a little girl come up to me this summer. I'm going to be a veterinarian because of you.
Oh,
And I said, and I was like, and their parents are like, Katie, you gave her goggles last year and she would never take them off. You know, so many little girls, I'm going to be a jockey for Halloween. I've had so many pictures of little girls being jockeys for Halloween, and like,
and see, it just takes one person. It just takes one person to make such a huge difference. And I've shared this story a couple of times, either online or via podcast here on Building Doors. But our daughter plays golf. She happens to be pretty good,
yeah,
and
awesome.
we went to go get her new shoes. We went to Golf Galaxy. She likes spikes, and unfortunately, out of all of the shoes there, hundreds, only like 40 were for women, and of those 40, only one had spikes.
That's so
And
sad.
so I remember you and I talking about gear, uh, racing gear, and gear for little girls and horses. And you had said that someday you'd like to start your own line of
Mhm.
gear for little girls. And is that because, just like when I went to Golf Galaxy and saw the lack of options, is that also why you want to do it?
Yes, that, and you know, I don't know. I just I wanna inspire. I want to throw an inspiring gear out there as well. You know what I mean? Just I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Sorry.
So gear that is geared, gear that is geared. That was
You're-
so good, Christy. Um, a line of clothing that is geared towards a message of empowerment, not
yes.
just right.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That
get it.
that and like sportswear, and you know just yes. I think of like horse racing too, and what they have there for the people. It's like it's more geared towards men. You got
Shocker.
you got drinking, you got scars, you got betting, you got, and yeah, Saratoga has their line, like the Naira has their line of like sweatshirts and jackets, but I want to gear towards women, like sports bras, leggings, sneakers, like you got your Yeti or whatever, or your like water bottles and stuff, and just inspire it though, because
Yeah.
what they have now is they do have the jewelry, which is awesome. They have the hats, which is great, but you can't really wear those hats anywhere else but horse racing. They got the like, they're cute,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
flowers and stuff. But, I feel like people are leaning towards more of a healthy option and working out more. And it'd be nice to have like that sport inspiring wear. So that's kind of where I'm gearing towards.
So I end every podcast by asking my guest the same question. So the question is this: what does your door to success look like? So for example,
Hmm.
if I were to answer that question, I would start with what it looks like. And I would say my door to success, if I were to walk up to it, is definitely golden. It's bedazzled, it's loud, it's shiny. You can see it from space. And then I would go on to say, when I open it up, I see and feel, I feel empowered. I feel equal. I see men and women all supporting one another in their creative endeavors. And, oh, you need help? Sure, I'll help you. Here, let me help you. It doesn't matter your gender, right? And
Mhm.
then I see little girls and little boys watching this and then growing up and leading their lives in the same way. So my door
Mhm.
to success is bright, it's bold, it's shiny, and it's all about a feeling of community and equality. So, what does your door to success look like, and what happens when you open it?
So I would say this is such a great question, and it makes you really think about it.
Yeah.
My door is obviously, it is bold, it is bright, it is welcoming. It's definitely feisty as well and inspiring. I see it being like bright. I don't know. I
Is
don't
it
know
is
what
it a
I.
barn door? Is it a barn door? Is it a door that is leather? Is it like, what does it look like?
That's a great question. Hmm. And then the thing is I can foresee things, and now I'm like, uh,
So
you got me.
one of the reasons I ask this question is because I recently launched a proof of concept series where I partner with artists. And
Hmm.
I have women and young girls around the world share what their door to success looks like. And then I have
Yeah.
a door builder, a voice actor, voice it. And then I
Oh.
have the artists create art based on what they hear. And then we time lapse it so we can see what the art looks like. And so, ideally, by asking this question of all my podcast guests, what I hope
Uh-huh.
to do is maybe someday take the answers to these questions, the audio versions,
Uh-huh.
and write similar stories and partner with artists to create
Oh,
them.
that's cool. I
So,
love
like,
that.
that's why I'm asking for these, like, descriptive words, like, what color is it? Like,
Yeah.
what does it look
Color.
like? Yeah, and what does it feel like? What are the textures? And then when you walk in it, who's there? Like, what feelings do you have? I mean,
Yeah.
is it you on the winners bracket, like, holding a trophy? Is it you winning
Mhm.
a certain race? Is it what is it?
Yes. So I do love the barn choice. I am a very country girl. I love the color blue, so I could see it being a nice dark blue. Um, I love the moon and stars. I love stars. I have tattoos of stars and stuff. So I see the universe. I see it glowing, and just it's just like your destination is endless. It's yeah. And I always look at the sky at night and the stars, and I'm like, wow, like we can do anything we put our mind to, and it's beautiful. And I love shooting stars, so I could see that being my door. And it's wild as Riley, she loves the color blue too, so anything she can get is blue. So that's what I see. I see an endless future. Right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Um, and then when I walk in, I feel family, everybody's kind. Um,
Mm,
I feel everybody's building each other up. There is no negativity. It's just building this universe to a better place, honestly. And it's not about just winning races. It's about the positivity that you bring along with you.
mm,
I don't know, I look beyond it. I love what I do. I love my I love the game. I love the horses. But it's something about bringing the people along with me and just moving forward and showing them that, yeah, I can do it, but you can do it too.
I love it, Katie. That's perfect. That's a perfect door. And you're the first person that has answered that question to include the universe and stars and this never ending kind of idea of
Yeah.
there's no cap. There's no
I feel
cap.
like it's not about me though. Whatever I
Right.
do, it's not about, and that's what I tell my husband. It's not yet. My saying too is I love making doubters believers. Like it just like, you doubt me, I believe in it, watch me. So that's been my whole career. And not only that, it's like you say, knocking down doors so the other person can come with me.
Yeah.
It's not just like I don't have that ego is, oh, it's me. Oh, I did this. Oh, yeah. No, it's like, hey, I did this. Come with me. You could do it too. Come on, let's go. So that's my way of building people up. Come on, let's go. Come on. Endless.
Yeah, Katie, you've been a joy to speak to. I appreciate your candor. I appreciate your honesty. And you are truly someone that lives and works in a space that wasn't built for you, but you are making space. You are doing
Thank you.
exactly what needs to be done. And you, I hope, will be heralded in your industry years to come as the woman that helped make other women's journeys in this sport possible.
Thank you. Oh, it make me cry.
Thank you for listening to the Building Doors podcast. If you like what you hear and see, fuel the mission. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/buildingdoors and buy us a coffee. I like lattes. Every story shared is a door built for someone else to walk through. Thank you.
Oh.
Thanks for listening to the Building Doors podcast. Want to hear more? Check out all our episodes at buildingdoorsvo.com/podcast and follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn at Building Doors VO. We'd love to hear from you, so call us on our 24/7 hotline at 216-307-1917 and leave us a voicemail with your thoughts. Do you want to support the podcast? Well, we love coffee. Buy us a cup through the link in the description or at buildingdoorsvo.com. Until next time, keep pushing forward, keep speaking up, and let's keep building doors together.